A lot of the smartest engineers that I've ever worked with have the same problem. They stay quiet in meetings. And no, it's not that they don't know what to talk about. They just feel, oh, my work will speak for itself, so I don't need to speak up. Or they're just not paying attention because they're busy multitasking. Could be reviewing PRs, putting out new PRs, responding to Slack messages because they just feel that's just more important. But that unknowingly is killing their visibility and the trust that they build. By the way, if you're an engineer who struggles to communicate confidently and clearly, I have put together an extremely structured guide which has a 30-day plan as well as a way for you to submit your day one video to me for my feedback so I can set you off on the right way to do the 30-day challenge correctly. If that interests you, comment 30-day plan in the comments and I'll send you over the guide. Now, back to the video. In this video, I'll talk about a couple different things. Number one, why smart engineers stay quiet. Number two, why multitasking is actually killing your visibility. And number three, the immediate things you can start doing without having to talk a lot while contributing meaningfully in meetings. Let's talk about why smart engineers stay quiet in meetings. Number one, they feel their work will speak for itself. Usually a lot of these smart engineers just feel that, okay, if I keep contributing and doing really great work and pushing out more PRs, people will eventually notice and see that I'm so reliable and hardworking and the promotion will just come. So I just need to double down on doing that. Why do I even need to speak up in meetings? Let the other people do that. But that mentality and mindset is hurting your credibility and visibility in a massive way, more than you can think. People don't see your thinking unless you make it visible. So, no, people won't notice your great work if you don't point it out to them. Number two, multitasking during meetings. That is doing code reviews, responding to Slack messages, putting out more PRs and whatnot. You don't even pay attention during a lot of these meetings. And I'm not even saying that you have to pay attention in 100% of all meetings, but there might be those strategic meetings where you do need to pay attention and give your input in some way or other. And because of this, you miss context, you miss the chance to contribute or stand out using your thoughts or asking clarifying questions or summarizing things. Over time, people just stop expecting input from you and might not even invite you to these meetings, which will kill your visibility totally. So, my friend, don't be that someone who's always multitasking during meetings. Get that visibility because if you're driving clarity, people will keep inviting you to these high priority meetings. And over time, you'll be invited to even more important meetings, which will help with your visibility. Now, number three, fear of sounding wrong. A lot of times, these smart engineers have good questions in their head, but they're just afraid that this question might be stupid and they just don't ask and just end up staying quiet. Actually, a lot of times, even other engineers might have had a very similar, if not the same question. So, if you're someone who has these types of questions, but you're afraid of asking them because they might sound stupid, check out this video that I put together, which talks about how you can confidently ask these questions without them sounding stupid at all and drive clarity in the process. So, you must be thinking, like, okay, Nana, I understand it's important to speak up at meetings, but why is it even costing me all of these things? Let's cover that next. So, when you don't talk in meetings or don't contribute meaningfully in meetings, a couple of these things happen. People don't see how you think. You don't get to influence decisions. You don't get to build trust. So even if you're doing great work, it just goes unnoticed, becomes invisible, and you get overlooked. Because visibility is built in conversations, not code. Now let's look at the immediate things you can start doing to help with your visibility so that you can contribute effectively in these meetings. You don't need to talk more, you just need to talk with intent. So, number one, be fully present. I'm not saying you have to be fully present for every single one of those meetings, but if you check your calendar, if you check the meetings you're invited to, you will notice there will be those strategic meetings which will have those important stakeholders with who your visibility will matter a lot. So, especially in those select few meetings, be fully present. Treat meetings as a part of your job, not as a distraction. I don't like being invited to too many meetings, but if I'm being invited to some specific meetings, that means my input might actually be required. And even if that input might be just asking questions, so be it. I will put aside a lot of my other stuff that I'm doing and focus. I don't do this for every single one of those meetings, but I'll take a look at the invite list of who's on the meeting. And depending on that, I'll decide on how I want to approach that meeting. If you don't get distracted, you can actually contribute meaningfully when you're actually present. Number two, ask clarifying questions. When I say contribute in meetings, you don't have to actually give your viewpoints. A lot of times it might just be asking those clarifying questions to unearth requirements or to get everyone on the same page. I keep giving this example through multiple of my videos. It could just be asking a simple question when you're in a meeting with product and other engineers. It's just, okay, I understand these are the XYZ product requirements, but on the engineering side of things, what are we optimizing for to help us satisfy these product requirements? Because in engineering, there's never one right way to do something. And depending on what trade offs you and your team are fine with, will dictate how you approach that solution. And doing it in the most optimal way or the best practices way might not always be the right way to do it and might not always drive the most ROI that your team is looking for. So asking these sorts of questions helps you understand what sort of solution you could potentially recommend or the kind of direction you can move the meeting into once you understand those things. Number three, summarize things. So again, this could be just being like, hey, everyone, just taking a step back and making sure I'm understanding everything clearly. We discussed points A, B, C. These are the trade offs we uncovered and decided trade off A is more important than trade off B, because of which we are doing option B now. So I want to make sure I'm understanding this clearly so that everyone's on the same page. Doing something like this will make sure that you are the person who helps others retain information, because in meetings, it becomes very easy to lose train of thought and lose track of all the information being discussed. So being someone who summarizes these things quickly within a 30-second spiel will be immensely useful. And for that, you will have to be present at the meeting and have to be actively listening, sometimes even taking notes. So that will set you apart. Number four, share your perspective. Again, this is not adding any extra points. This is just based on everything that's being discussed, give your opinion on what you prefer depending on what will give the most ROI. So something like, hey, given this is product requirement XYZ and engineering requirement ABC, I believe option A will help satisfy both of these and give us the most ROI. You're just piggybacking on things being already discussed. You're not giving your own viewpoints. But if you do have your own viewpoints and things to add, feel free to do that. That's also very important and will help you stand out in some way. But being someone who drives clarity and drives alignment will help you set apart even more, because most engineers always focus on the solution, but not everyone focuses on getting everyone on the same page and driving clarity that way. So, yeah, the goal is not to speak more, it's to be present in discussions and to drive clarity and alignment. And if you want to become that confident speaker who can present their ideas confidently and clearly, comment the 30-day plan and I'll send you the guide so that you can follow that structured method and become that confident speaker in just 30 days. With that being said, as always, I'm just here to help.